one of the things that I can certainly say is the compassion and empathy, for me at least, came with a certain degree of maturity. I don't think I would have been capable of this when I was 22. Now that I'm, on past 42, I feel like I'm much more prone to doing those things. Do you think there is like just a certain level of maturity required to be a good manager?
And do we mean maturity or experience too? I'll throw that in.
Okay.
Yeah. Maturity for sure. Like I said, the first time I was in like a team lead position, oh, it went to my head. Oh my goodness. I was the worst. I was just like, oh, I'm this hot, star. I was promoted as a team lead, bow down to me type of thing is my tiara.
The tiara.
So, yeah. And I mean, just chalk that up to, I was like mid-20s, I was just immature. I just hadn't reached that yet. But that is to say, some people reach maturity a lot earlier than others. So I've met plenty of people who were excellent managers in their early 20s, and that I learned from. Yeah. I forgot the other part of the question. I'm sorry.
Well, is it maturity or is it also experience that factors
Right.
in here?
Yeah. So experience is also important. Of course, at some point, we all kind of get thrown into management and without any management experience per se. If you take some courses or read, I'm trying to think of the name of this book I read. I can't remember. Or view articles on Harvard Business Review that helped me a lot. Learn Scrum and Agile and all of that stuff, which is, readily available for free. Yeah. So if you're not experienced practically, you can study in order to, hopefully mitigate the struggles that you're going to have at first.
Right. I sometimes there is no replacement for experience, but I know you can certainly learn all kinds of skills through training. So, that makes sense to me. So you mentioned, you got your first sort of tech lead manager role. You thought you were the hot thing. You're like, oh man, I can do this. I'm awesome. But the people you were just working with on your team, they were your teammates. Now they're possibly your direct reports. I have two questions. How did you handle the transition then, and how would you approach that transition now?
Oh yeah, I would approach it completely different. Yeah, so I didn't handle it well. I was promoted over people in my mind, and I actually had to compete with somebody for that position who was on my team after I achieved that. And her and I, had a lot of struggle, and I was just struggling overall. Like, I had to manage projects. I had to continue to do my old job. And now I had like two more jobs on top of that. And I didn't really complain except for once. And I was like, I can't do all of this. And my manager's response was, just do it. I was just like, well, okay, then I guess I will. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, at one point, though, I realized that I was struggling and that I needed to learn how to lead these people. And so I read blogs and books, and I was turned on to this idea of radical empathy. So this is something where you can empathize with anybody, even a person that you just completely hate, that you and them do not see eye to eye on anything. But you can still respect their work and, treat them respectfully in that way. And then also just understand where they're coming from. So my biggest success as a manager was me and this girl who did not like each other. We were pitted against each other by management. And at some point I just sat down and talked to her and asked her, her opinion on things. And I looked to her to help me. And she appreciated that. And I appreciated it. We ended up becoming friends, and I helped her get a job last year.